Hi, my name is David and welcome to the SST Writing Mentorship Center. Today we're going to be talking about writing an op-ed. So first of all, we have to ask, what is an op-ed? An op-ed is a short, usually around 750 word long paper that's submitted to a newspaper with the goal of expressing your opinion and convincing the readers that they should share your opinion. If you're unfamiliar with op-eds, your first step should be to look at the editorial section in a newspaper. This section can be found online and it'll give you a good idea of what an op-ed looks like. You can read through several examples and get a feel for how they're structured, how long they can be, and what kind of content you can include in them. Something that's important to keep in mind is that when writing an op-ed, the most important thing to remember is your audience. Unlike your traditional academic papers, an op-ed is intended to appeal to a much wider audience, specifically anyone who reads the newspaper. So you'll want to remember this when you're writing your op-ed and be sure to explain any terms that you use in detail. So if you're using any terminology or something that's specific to what you're writing about, be sure to explain it because you're writing to a broad audience. If you're wondering what you should write about, first off, if your instructor has given you a general topic, for example, politics of race or women's rights, obviously write about anything related to that topic. Researching current events related to your topic can also be helpful to get a fuller understanding of the issues that you're talking about. If your instructor has given you freedom to write about anything you want, make sure to choose something that you have a strong opinion on. Remember that op-eds are informal and they don't require a specific format or structure, so it's going to be largely up to you to talk about the thing that you're discussing, and you'll want to have a strong opinion on it because of this free-flowing structure. Here's a general outline for your op-ed. Obviously we'll start with a title, and the title of an op-ed is very important because it gives a reader an idea of what the op-ed is about. After that, your introduction, which is what's going to set the tone of the entire op-ed. And then that will be followed by the body paragraphs, which is the meat of your op-ed, where the opinion part really comes out. And then, as always, you end with a conclusion where you sum things up and remind the reader why it's important. So speaking about the title, a good title is crucial for a good op-ed. Remember, op-eds are posted in newspapers, so your audience is going to decide whether or not they want to read your piece based on how compelling or interesting the title is. You can get creative here, but make sure to state your main argument or opinion in a compelling way. One example is "Sucks to suck. Straws have become a modern-day weapon of mass destruction," if someone was writing about the environmental damage that straws pose in today's society. So you want something that's going to be eye-catching and give a good idea of what the op-ed is going to be about. For your introduction, you want to start with a hook, something to get your audience attention, make them want to keep reading. You might use a short anecdote, a surprising fact, or a bold assertion, something that's going to make them think and say, I want to read what the rest of this op-ed has to say. Next, you want to provide some context or background information. Remember that your audience likely does not know much about your topic. They may only have general knowledge of what the topic is. So be sure to explain enough for them to follow what you're saying, but don't give too much away because that's what you're going to want to focus on in the body paragraphs. Even though an op-ed is not a strict form of academic writing, you still need to have a thesis. So in this case, the thesis is going to be your opinion. Where do you stand on this issue? Tell your reader what exactly you think about it and what your opinion is. Be bold about it as well. For the body of the op-ed, it doesn't have to be a set number of paragraphs, but you should include enough evidence to support your claim. Be persuasive. You have an opinion and you want to persuade others to agree with your opinion. There are several different types of persuasion that you can use. These include personal experience, expert opinion, example, analogy, facts and statistics, logic, or emotion. So if you're using personal experience, this means that you have experience with your topic. You want to use that experience because this lends you some credibility and it lets the audience know that they should trust you because you have personally experienced what you're talking about. Similarly, if you're using an expert opinion for a more academic approach, you can use outside resources such as a book, academic paper, or something you learned in class. You can also use someone else's personal experience here. Unlike traditional academic papers, these sources do not have to be strictly academic. Examples are a great way to show the reader what exactly you're talking about. So if you have an example of how your topic has impacted a situation or a person, you'll want to use that. It can back up your claim as something that has a real-world impact. And that can be easier for people to understand, especially if you're dealing with very broad ideas or theories. Analogies can be used if you don't have a solid example and you just want to compare your topic to something similar that's happened. This is a good idea if you're writing about something extremely recent that has not yet had a chance to play out. With facts and statistics, if there's any data that can back up your claim, that's always very useful. It can lend your argument more credibility, but you want to be sure to cite your sources on that. Using reasoning and critical thought can help your argument and help you show your audience what connections you're making and how you're making them. And then emotion is often very frequently involved in op-eds. If you have a close connection with your topic, use that. Op-eds don't always have to be completely objective pieces of writing, so you can get emotional. If this is going to help show your audience why your topic has an impact, that can be very helpful to the overall piece. And with your conclusion, in 1 or 2 sentences, you'll want to remind the audience what you're arguing, why they should care, and remember, your goal is to convince them of your argument. It's a good idea to end your op-ed with a personal comment, call to action, or a question. This gives the audience something strong to remember that can prompt them to further action or further research on your topic. That's all we have for today, and now you're ready to go out and write an op-ed yourself.